To the Growth Room with David Daniels. Today, we're incredibly fortunate to have Max Kozlovsky, the visionary founder and strategic vision partner of Quest Advising. Max, with his over 2 decades of business leadership, is a lauded growth partner and leadership multiplier. Today, we'll be diving into his unparalleled approach to leadership consultation and exploring the significant trends he's observing in the industry. Max, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent, David. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be talking to you today.
Excellent, excellent. Max, can you share a little bit about your background and your current role at Quest Advising?
Sure. Well, let's see. I guess if I go way back, right? I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Everyone for several generations has owned their own business or started their own business, whether out of need or out of just learning that from their parents.
All right.
So I knew that entrepreneurship was kind of in my path. Then I had a hard lesson when I was about 19, when my father unexpectedly passed, and I realized that he really didn't have a business. He had a high-paying job,
All right.
but without him, the business didn't survive, and it went under within 3, 4 months. And what's incredible was that we thought we had it bad. We'd lost him, we'd lost his income. But then we looked around and saw his team and realized that they had it even worse.
All right.
So it was at that time where I thought to myself, I really need to learn how to do business the right way and make sure this doesn't happen to me and my family. So I really started obsessing over business and doing things the right way. And I'd done a few things, growing up, selling anything and everything that I could,
All right.
make a few bucks. But I officially started my career working for Procter& and Gamble, consumer packaging goods in the marketing department. Then something interesting happened. It was called the internet,
All right.
and saw the opportunity there and left there, started a company, ended up becoming a software company. Nowadays, it would have been called a SaaS. Back then, it was called an application service provider.
Right.
Was lucky enough to sell a technology to compact computers.
Mhm.
But the level of success wasn't where I expected it to be, or where my partners wanted it to be.
Awesome.
So I thought maybe I haven't learned enough. So I went back to corporate for a few more years. Long story short, my first son's born and wanted to have a really good relationship with him, but went to work, he was asleep, came back, he was asleep again.
Right.
So realized that I really needed to get to my next step, which was entrepreneurship again.
Right.
So built a service company and then ended up partnering and merging it and selling it. And funny enough, when you're, you know, starting a business and working really hard, you don't have time to contemplate whether you're happy or not. You're just
Right.
going.
Right.
But as I became more successful, I started to be less and less happy with the work that I was doing.
Gotcha.
So again, to keep the story short, I realized that I loved helping people, but I wasn't helping them in the right things.
Right.
To keep the story short, I partnered with a life coach, went through this process, and then I realized what I really needed to be doing,
Mhm.
and realized that my whole life and career and path led me to not only learn how to do business the right way for myself, but it was to
Mhm.
help others not have to experience the hardships of what happens when businesses go wrong and
Right.
when businesses go bad. So for the last 16 years, I've been fully devoted to helping business owners become better leaders, become more innovative, learn how to connect both the heart and the mind of peoples and in themselves,
Right.
and along the way, implement best practices, utilize great frameworks, facilitate the use of tools
Right.
that just helps them grow faster, more consistently, and ultimately have more fun and do well for them and for others around them.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I saw you skipped over one because in essence of saving me some time, but and saving yourself some time. But Your one business that I was definitely looking at, saw that I was interested in was your golf business.
Yeah,
Because my handicap is not getting any better after these 30 years, Max, and I really probably needed to know you back then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
did that business teach you anything as far give you any
absolutely.
life lessons as far as what to do with this one?
Absolutely. So they say that many psychologists go into psychology because they want to fix themselves.
Right.
Well, I definitely went into the golf business because I wanted to fix my own game.
Right.
So I've always loved technology. Um, I love numbers
Right.
and I love golf.
Nah, that's both of us,
So
Max.
it was an opportunity to really put something together that was just getting started, but there was a really good opportunity to level it up. So for a lot of our golfer friends out there, back in the day, the golf instructor would see you and he would say, well, you need to turn more. And we're like, how much more?
Right.
How do I know if I've turned enough? Right?
Right.
Or you need to stay down. Well, what exactly does staying down mean?
Right.
So the technology that I used at that time was cutting edge military grade sensors, motion sensors. I
Nice.
partnered with a biomechanist focused on golf, and we put together this incredible technology that would help us become number driven and could provide
Nice.
feedback for individuals so they knew why they needed to turn more and how that
Right.
affected their kinematic sequence and the outcomes they accomplished, but also recognize when they were turning enough, right? Just as an example,
Right.
sensors on the floor, high-speed cameras, the whole thing, right? Now, back
Right.
when I started, that was all relatively new.
Right.
Now the technology is everywhere, right? Like you can go
Right.
into a bunch of different golf simulators and places, and they have most of it done.
Yep.
I still think they are lacking some of the physical body numbers that kind of went away a little bit. I think there's a few places that still use it,
Hmm.
but ultimately it applies to business, right? So we need to be able to measure
That's it.
because you can't manage what you don't measure.
That's it.
You've got to observe behaviors. You can't, observe behavior changes behavior.
Right.
And ultimately, there's a lot in terms of, selling vitamins versus selling medicines or
That's it.
medicines versus vitamins,
That's it.
right? So in terms of like saying, hey, you could play golf a little bit better versus you have a shank and you need to fix it,
Right.
right? But that applies to all businesses, right? And the more they can focus on selling the real pain points, the faster their business will attract the right clients, get work, do great for their clients, among many other business lessons that occur.
No doubt. No doubt. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. With your business today, what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, I don't think there is a typical day.
I always ask that question. That's the first thing people say. There is no typical
Yeah, yeah.
day.
But I think there's some elements to what could make a day typical, right?
Right.
So um, there's there's client meetings. There's a lot of my work now happens over Zoom.
Nice.
Then we have team meetings or annual planning sessions, quarterly planning sessions. Some of them are done in person, some of them are done virtually.
Right.
And there's a lot of, I mean, things are changing fast, but my job is to help people get very clear on what their vision is
Hmm.
and how to turn that into strategy, how to convert that into engagement
Right.
and real progress, right? Where everybody is vested in to that vision in working together to accomplish it.
Right.
Along the way, there's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of marketing differentiation, there's a lot of building capabilities,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of troubleshooting.
Right.
So I help implement a bunch of frameworks, but figuring out what is the right framework to use at the right time is critical.
Right.
Understanding what my business partners, clients are going through and what are their key next steps is
Hmm.
important. So there's this thing that is just not valued enough, which is thinking
Right.
and spending time thinking
Right.
and preparing for the meeting, not because I'm doing work for them, or I'm reviewing their documents or the work that they've done, which there's a little bit of that. There's places where that's important, but it's more about really understanding the context of where they are.
Right.
mentally, emotionally, business-wise, team-wise, market-wise. And nowadays is using more AI to be supportive of that.
Hmm.
Having access to tools that, we only had access back in large corporate America, but
Right.
now having access to those tools, even a small and medium-sized business, is tremendous.
Yep.
And trying to do some of the parts, well, doing two things. Um, Figuring out how to implement AI, which is key. It's not about ChatGPT only. It's not about Cloud Code only. And it's not about going crazy with a million tools that are out there. It's
Right.
about what are our real needs and how do we pair it with the right technology to keep things moving forward. So
Right.
that's one big step. And then doing what the AI can't do yet, and I say yet because I'm sure it will at some point, which is having the concept of everything,
Right.
right? Being able to hold the context of everything that's happening around their world, their team's world, their goals, their personal goals,
Right.
their personal vision, their business vision, and helping navigate through all of that, right?
No doubt.
And then pairing it with more AI tools that can help facilitate the implementation
Yep.
of the frameworks that they need to keep moving forward.
No doubt.
So sounds complex and interesting, but ultimately it's about also simplifying it
Hmm.
and just, hey, just show me the next few steps. I don't need to see everything because it could be overwhelming.
Right.
We just need to know what's the most important thing that we need to work on next, maybe a couple steps forward, right?
That's it.
Always keeping the vision in mind, but focusing the execution on what's in front of us.
No doubt. No doubt. What major shifts are you seeing in the business consulting industry right now?
What shifts?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing is um, knowledge isn't valuable anymore. Implementation of that knowledge is.
Okay.
Anyone can go up to ChatGPT and ask it a bunch of questions, and it has pretty solid answers.
That's true.
There are a few issues, right? Like it hallucinates a little bit. It'll tell you that your worst idea is incredible, and it'll try to justify your thinking, and it'll make a lot of mistakes like that. And it also doesn't have the whole context of everything.
Right.
But a lot of spot knowledge is really powerful. Hey, what do I do with this situation? How do I answer this email that I got from an angry client, right? How do I
Right.
respond to this review? What do I tell the team member that wants a raise, but they're really not showing more value? Like all those things are changing. Like you used to have to call someone like me and say, "Hey, this is a situation. Let's talk about it."
Right.
And now there's a lot of that doesn't need to happen anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Which to me is great because now I can contribute at a higher level.
Right.
I can contribute at a more strategic or in places that bigger context windows are more important that AI can't do. So that to me is how one of the ways that things are changing again for the good and for the watch out, right? I mean, we're not there yet. So going and using some of these technologies and thinking that they're going to give you all the right answers is could be a little bit of a trap. But in
Yep.
many places, used correctly, it'll just accelerate. So
No
knowledge
doubt.
is not as valuable. But I'll give you an example. Right now, for the last couple of years, we've been talking about the implementation of AI tools.
Hmm.
And when it comes to the work that I do, we're focused, right? So where can we automate?
Right.
Where can we facilitate? Where can we amplify? And we have a process to understanding people's businesses and understanding where can we find automations, where can we find building capabilities that we didn't have currently, and where do we
Right.
just need to do more of what we're doing, and using AI for that.
Right.
And then that's how you kind of bring it from, okay, need to use AI and need to use AI to how do I use it? Well, there's frameworks that help you figure out how to implement it.
No
But
doubt.
there's a lot of companies that are just freaking out trying to look at the latest and greatest technology. Or I hear a lot of conversations regarding, yeah, and I'm using ChatGPT, and I go, great. Some more advanced are saying I'm using Claude Code, and I'm saying even better,
Right.
but how? And then they build all these different agents, which are really cool and fun, but don't necessarily lead to productivity
Right.
or lead it to the levels of productivity that it could if it were better focused.
Right.
So it's a very interesting time of learning how to integrate all of this technology in business.
No doubt. No doubt, no doubt. What's in, I guess, for the business, for your business, in that vein, what's working well for you right now, and maybe what's been frustrating?
Well, so that's two important questions. I'm going to start with the first part of the answer, which is adding technology requires a cultural evolution.
Hmm.
And this is true before AI,
Right.
right? So we're not using a CRM. Now we are using a CRM. We are not in Yellow Pages anymore. We're in Google now,
That's right.
right? So the first thing is that we require the right mindset. People are naturally um, afraid of change. Most people are for good reasons, right? It brings uncertainty. It's threatening. It could be difficult. So we first need to address it from a cultural and mindset perspective
Right.
and help people get comfortable with this is not here to replace your job. It's here to augment your job.
That's right.
But at the same time, make it kind of mandatory in a way.
Right.
So I work with people who have team members that are actually rejecting the use of AI because they feel that it's cheating
Right.
or unfair or not useful, or they don't know how to make it useful.
Right.
And part of that is good and real, I think. The word nowadays is called slop.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of AI slop. So anyone that knows how AI works, right? Like it's just capturing information from everywhere. So if there's a lot of people doing something one way, it's going to tell you how to do it that same way,
Right.
but it doesn't mean it's the better way or the best way.
Right.
It's just the more popular way. So many times just using AI like everybody else will lead to results like everybody else has, which are not necessarily great,
Right.
powerful, or better.
Right.
So some of that is true, but being able to work them through the change, right? So there's a big term in my industry called change management,
Right.
and I think this is part of it, right? So changing mindsets, changing cultures, changing expectations.
Nice.
Um, and I think that if we can do that, which is, where things kind of get challenging, then you get into the implementation.
Right.
In the implementation, I think because of how quickly things happen, I think this fear of failure is lower than in other places,
Right.
right? So I myself have built a bunch of stuff that I end up trashing. But I don't see it as a failure. I mean, even though it's frustrating to build
Right.
something and then realize, you have to trash it, you still realize that you had to go through those steps to get to understanding how things work or understanding how to make things better.
Right.
So I think what is working is utilizing, it's twofold. So there's fundamental principles in business and in strategy that have not changed one bit,
Right.
right? 30, 40 years of them. And things have not changed a lot when it comes to the deep core strategic thinking. When it comes to the implementation, everything has changed.
Right.
So when you use frameworks that have proven to be um, proven, right, historically for years, decades, to work, provide great outcomes,
Hmm.
and you focus on the fundamentals of them, but you add layers of innovation and implementation, then things move faster,
Right.
right?
Right.
Uh, so, back in my corporate days, we used high output management. I didn't
Mhm.
even know that that was a framework, but it was a framework built in Intel. I didn't know we were using it a framework or calling it a framework. I realized that years later. But to this day, those fundamental principles of high output management still work, are still being used.
Right. Right.
How? Well, now you use software to help you create a job scorecard. You use technology to help you, um, keep track of agendas or
Right.
summaries of meetings. Who, what, whens, and stuff like that. So it's
Right.
merging fundamentals with technology.
No doubt. That's great. That's great. All right. Last question. If you had a magic wand to fix just one thing in your particular business that's slowing you down at all, what would that one thing be?
Well, I think I'm going to say something that happens to consultants, coaches, and anyone else that is kind of using their time to help others.
Right.
which is you're either doing the work or getting the work. So the more work you get, the less time you have to do to get more work.
Right.
So the thing about what I do is that it's quite particular. Um, Not everyone is the right partner for me. I'm not the right
Right.
partner for everyone.
Right.
So I do need to talk to a lot of people to find those that make it a great match. So I would say that visibility and allowing people to see that, there's great frameworks out there, but it's not just about the framework. It's about the partner that you have in the implementation and facilitation of it
Right.
is is pretty critical. And most people see, kind of black and white. It's like, do I use this framework or that framework or that framework?
Right.
And it's more complex to think about it in terms of like, look, you don't have to use EOS or Scaling Up or Great Game of Business or Metronomics or any of those frameworks individually. You could use the best out of all of them and
Absolutely.
have someone that helps you put the right tools in front of you at the right time.
No doubt.
But because it's slightly different than what we're used to, it's sometimes a little bit more challenging to get that message across.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where do you see your business? Really, last question. I'm sorry. Where do you see your business in the next 6 to 12 months, Max?
Well, I think we're coming to a place where it'd be crazy not to leverage technology, right?
Hmm.
And I've always said that innovation is the key to growth, development, improvement, um, being able to do more with less.
Right.
So I cannot see um, a world where I don't integrate with AI to
Right.
help facilitate the implementation of my tools and frameworks.
Right.
So I think that on one hand, my heart's been with my what I call, my vision partners. They have a
Mhm.
vision. We built a vision together. We go and we do really cool stuff. But on the other hand, we've got the ability to help hundreds or thousands of businesses out there by helping them not just get the knowledge that they need, because as we talked about, that's easy and cheap,
Right.
but helping them with the facilitation and implementation of
Right.
of the tools. But then you go even further because now you can actually work on the deployment and implementation of the tools utilizing AI.
Right.
So where I used to spend 2 hours sitting with a client putting something together, now we've got agents and assistants that can help us get that work done in 20 minutes.
Right.
And I can get a lot of people out there that would want someone like me helping, but we might not be a good fit, a right match, have the right budget, and they can get a lot of that support very quickly
No,
with the integrations I'm working on.
no doubt. Super, super. Well, that was great, Max. Thank you for sharing your insights. And man, that was awesome. One thing I could see, just from spending a little bit of time with you is that you've been brilliant and you stay brilliant, and I really appreciate that because we you're the kind of coach, if you will, out here that can help all of us learn. So I really appreciate spending time with you.
Thank you, David. It's been a pleasure talking to you for a few minutes.